Welcome to this fantastic series focused on leadership, happiness and well-being. Today I'll be interviewing Jürgen Müller, a senior partner at one of the top 5 consulting companies and a guru in corporate happiness and well-being. Jürgen, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm fascinated by your story as you're a super senior executive and partner in one of the big consulting companies. And a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, you made a shift to focus on happiness and well-being. And at the time, I know people said you must be crazy from a super successful career to then suddenly be focusing on the topic of happiness and well-being. Then the pandemic happened 2 years ago, and then suddenly the focus and awareness of well-being suddenly became very important to corporations. So how did your journey evolve?
My journey, Mark, actually has started much earlier than this. And I need to explain a little bit the whole life story. I was born in a working family in the 60s in Germany. I had always everything I needed, but we didn't have money. There was no wealth. And I said then to me, you know, as I was growing up and seeing the world, that there was so much more out there, I said, I also want to have a big car, a nice house and a career and a status and nice clothes. And so this was actually what made me starting working. And then many years later, I was actually in my bathroom and had a white shirt. I was already a partner. I had this big house. I changed my car every 3 years. But the guy in the bathroom with the white shirt was as white as the shirt was. And there was no smile, there was no happiness, no energy at that time there. I was working 13, 14 hours a day. I was working the weekend. And actually the big house with the garden was something I wanted to give my kids because I wanted to work hard so that they have some pleasure and have a garden. Not really thinking about that the kids likely want to spend more time with daddy who was not around. I didn't fall into that mode from one day to another, so it actually took me also many years to dig me out of that. And one of the important keys that I did is actually I was addicted to my Blackberry that we had at the time.
Yeah.
And whenever this red light was blinking, I couldn't resist jumping onto it. I was addicted, that's really the right word. So one day I said, I leave the Blackberry in the car, and that actually changed my whole journey because then I went into the house and I had time for the kids, but afterwards I had also time for me, and I could actually start reorganizing a little bit the life. And then, you know, the more I studied about happiness, the more I then reorganized many things and took much more conscious decisions.
And why do you think happiness and well-being now is so important in the individual and the corporate life?
I think it is actually important since a long time. When I started then, to look about happiness, what it says, what's the science behind, I actually found out that since the 80s, every year, new publications come out from the leading university, and they put it bluntly as it is. They say, happy people are better performers.
What have you been doing in the corporate and consulting world to really drive the topic of happiness and well-being?
You know, to some executive levels, you cannot come and you say everyone needs to be happy because they think then we just getting on our shoulders and we see the world through pink glasses. So I try to bring the happiness theory into the corporate world. That at the very end there is an economic result that needs to come out, but it comes out very differently. Instead of pressuring your employees, you actually make sure they are happy and they can grow and go forward. What is the impact that you are wanting to make? And also when you are sitting mindful and aware in a meeting, then you can feel what's going on in the people, and your impact to the meeting is a very different, because you see the body language, you see the mimic, and then you can interact and you can make the best out of it. So my happiness business combination, I think, is very unique in the sense that I want the companies to continue to exist, to do something, but shaping it actually that we like it, that we are happy, that we are coming to work and we wanted to come to work.
So you covered so much in what you said. So let me try and sum up briefly. You covered everything from the triangle of kind of budget, time, and quality. And there's a lot within that triangle. There's time, affluence, there's sleep, quality of work. I think what I would also take from what you've said is it's complicated. And there's not one magic wand or magic spell for everybody. To kind of sum up, what would be your final words of wisdom in a few sentences?
There are two things. There's one tool I want to give to everyone. It's not my tool, it's a universal tool, but it's the tool stop. The word stop. And it stands for stopping, making a pause. The T stands, whenever your emotions come along with you and want to do something, you say, take a breath. And the O stands for observe. Observe what is really going on with you in the room. And only if you are clear with the observing, then you are proceeding. And maybe this proceeding is then to say, I need a break, I need to leave the room. As simple as it sounds, go to a piece of paper and write down in the one corner, what do I want to have more of in my life? And write in the other corner, what do I want to have less of in my life? And then don't let it just sit on this paper, start working on it.
Very nice. Stop, more of, less of. Beautiful. Jürgen, thank you so much for coming to talk to me today. It's been an inspiration and always fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.